The purest memory in existence is the most tolerant. It records everything without disgust or preference. It selflessly preserves every fact and every enchanting gesture. It is a river formed from continuous life, a treasure built up out of eternal wisdom. Fuli is the fish that swims back upstream. Fuli is the key to this treasure vault. They sit in the center of the sanctuary, silently watching as the world tirelessly repeat the same mistakes over and again. Hey Trailblazers! Lore Hunter Fenry here with another look into Honkai Star Rail's Aeons. This time we'll be covering Fuli the Remembrance. In this video, we'll explore their origins, our encounter with aspects of them, some location lore, and their factions. Here, though, is your mandatory spoiler alert warning. Can't say I didn't warn ya. Now, let's blaze a trail into the unknown together. Fuli is a very mysterious Aeon indeed. Rarely seen, when Fuli does appear, a major event usually happens. According to Herda's entry in the simulated universe, there are plenty of mysterious Aeons in the universe, and Fuli is particularly enigmatic. Nobody in the entire Genius Society and the IPC and the Intelligentsia Guild knows when they were born. The Aeon of Remembrance had quietly appeared in the annals of the universe as if they were meant to be here, as if they had altered everyone's memory. Fuli rarely presents themselves before mortals. According to video evidence, they visually look like a humanoid figure carved out of crystal with indistinguishable facial features and wearing a diadem with a curtain of pearls covering their face. The appearance of Fuli the Remembrance always signals an important event is about to happen, but I think maybe the cause and effect should be flipped. Perhaps Fuli only shows up to record that event in the universe's memories. So Fuli's main role in the universe is to collect the memories and to prepare them from what comes after destruction. It has been said that with the memories that Fuli collects, the planets or maybe even the entire universe could be restored. Of course, all of this is purely speculation. Rarely has Fuli been recorded, and the one time that the IPC was able to record their appearance was during the last public speech of Lewis Fleming. We talked about him in an early video, go ahead and check it out. Here's another excerpt from Herda's simulated universe entry of Fuli. Fortunately, the one time that Fuli's arrival was recorded was the last public appearance of Lewis Fleming, the founder and lifetime honorable board member of the Interastral Peace Corporation. Therefore, the IPC's archives preserve the complete recording of the Aeon's manifestation from the start to the end. Old Fleming was giving a speech at the time and declaring he was going to permanently retire from all official and unofficial events. Given how old he was probably tired of living. But just as he was finishing the speech, there was suddenly a rainbow-colored light that threw everyone into disarray. Like a wraith that appeared in thin air, Fuli the Remembrance had condensed into being before Lewis Fleming. The human representing wealth and the Aeon representing remembrance briefly locked eyes with each other. Maybe they exchanged some words, or maybe they didn't. The recording didn't manage to catch that. Fuli then disappeared, and Louis Fleming turned and walked off the stage, never to be seen again. Seriously, out of everyone who had faced an Aeon, that old man was the calmest I've seen. Even Screwlum's gears squeaked when he saw Nose. Whoa, what did you think of that interaction between a human and an Aeon? Was this a herald for the end of Louis Fleming, the wealthiest man in the universe? Comment your thoughts below. Now, as stated before, Fuli themselves is enigmatic. We do not really meet them except in the simulated universe. But that's not to say we haven't had any interactions with their work or factions. For example, we can interact with those floating blobs around Herta's space station. These blobs are called memory bubbles. And Herta makes us sign an NDA when we question her about the bubbles. Oops, I might have just broken that agreement. Sorry, Herta. Anyway, these bubbles contain, you guessed it, precious memories from individuals all across the universe. You can experience what these people and or creatures have experienced in their lifetime just by pressing your forehead against these bubbles. Now, these nifty devices came from the faction known as the Garden of Recollection, but we'll talk about them later on in the video. Pretty cool tech depending on how you view it. Now, in this section, I'm going to be talking about a bit of the storyline of Penacony, the planet of festivities. So this is the part where I will warn you right now about major story spoilers. The planet I really wanted to get into is, of course, Penacony. Under the control of the family and the Harmony now, Penacony used to be a desert planet owned by the IPC. During that time, the place was a massive interstellar prison, housing many who were condemned. The prisoners all worked to seal a leak that allowed Memoria to seep into the universe. We can see the lore of Penacony through its planar ornament. This excerpt states, "Few guests are aware of the dusty history of the past. The thread that weaves the dreams comes from reality. The velvety splendor of today's Penacony was born of salty rust, heavy shackles, and deprived freedom. The planet of festivities was once an IPC prison, where countless inmates were relocated to salvage the overflowing memory bubbles for the Garden of Recollection. People repeated their endless toils until their bodies were as heavy as lead, but their souls became as light as bubbles. At some unknown point in time, the small cells cut off access to reality. But people's consciousnesses became linked in dreams. In the midnight bell, that shared dream seemed so real, reflecting the sheer hypocrisy of reality." So, what exactly is Memoria? To answer that question, I found this tidbit floating somewhere in the universe. Memoria serves as a vessel for human memory and consciousness. Individuals who are not Memokeepers may experience varying degrees of negative impact upon direct contact with unprocessed Memoria. The memory zone and memory bubbles both consist of aggregates of Memoria, differing only in size. When we entered Penacony's part of the universe, we were affected by the Memoria and fell asleep during our jump. We entered a shared dream, perhaps with another wayfarer. We're met with someone who graciously navigated us through this weird dreamscape. Although it didn't end how we would have liked, we did get a few hints as to what was to come. Traveling around, we see many outlandish sights. Dancing cartoon characters, money-spewing machines, cars not seen anywhere else, etc. Anything that could be thought of can be brought to life in this dreamscape. If you wanted to, and had enough creds, of course, to keep it going, you could even bring someone famous to life again. Or you could even hide and forget your very identity in this wondrous place. We continued to explore the planet and were amazed at the sights, but not all was well here. Many of the planet's dwellers were unhappy with this joyous place. We would meet a tyrant from a different world, a long-lost celebrity, and even a scientist who developed a weapon that could kill billions. We engaged with each of these people, exposed their true selves in almost persona-like fashion, and restored their lost memories. They found out the truth of who they truly were and made decisions that would affect the rest of their existences. I hope we brought a bit of peace to their minds or souls. However, deep below the glitz and glamour, the underbelly of the planet is exposed. Memory bubbles consume much of the reverie dreamscape, allowing the area to be completely warped. Something sinister dwells here, and we encounter it on our own. Perhaps this something was born from those escaping memories. But with our encounter, we meet someone from the Garden of Recollection, a Memokeeper. And through our adventures, we see there is more that meets the eye here in this dreamscape. I want to know, what were your thoughts on this planet when you first arrived? Were you just as awestruck as I when I first arrived on this planet of festivities? Or did you also have a sense of foreboding, like something wasn't right? Two factions come to mind when it comes to Fuli: the Garden of Recollection and the Cremators. And in this section, we'll go ahead and talk about these two factions. First up is the Garden of Recollection. This is what the Astral Express's databank has recorded for them. To think is to exist, and memories are proof of that. All things that make up the material world will eventually perish, but they can live on in another way, through remembrance. Contrary to popular belief that memory is mixed with the imaginary, Memokeepers from the Garden of Recollection believe reality and imagination to be a myth. What is absolutely real and immortal in the universe that is constantly reincarnating? Even stars die and black holes evaporate. On a cosmic scale, they vanish in a breath. In this flood of time and life, the only treasure is the memory that proves the existence of people. Memokeepers from the Garden of Recollection are dedicated to preserving and sharing memories. Enlightened by their master Fuli, Memokeepers shed their mortal flesh and live on as memetic entities. With this unique gift, they can freely traverse between worlds, unconstrained by physical limits. Memokeepers often disguise themselves as natives of the world they visit. They trade, copy, steal, deceive, using every means necessary to collect precious memories. Memokeepers can be described two ways. Either they are usually good-natured and stick with bartering and trading, keeping their identities as Memokeepers, or they are more ill-natured and use more nefarious ways to get the memories they want. This group of people are more known as Memo Snatchers. Often described as faceless like their Aeon, some Memokeepers, however, do have a recognizable form that they show to ease feelings from everyday citizens. Much of their developed technology has greatly impacted the universe. As stated earlier, they were the ones that created the memory bubbles. These devices make it easier to transport memories from one place to the next using a sentient membrane. They also created the light cones. These are more advanced devices for preserving memories, but are restricted by the IPC. Now, we do meet two such Memokeepers on our journey through the universe. First is the Memokeeper on the Express, only known by the name as Messenger. And the other is the enigmatic Black Swan. Thankfully, we haven't encountered any Memo Snatchers just yet. However, the citizens of the Xianzhou have. Just listen to this excerpt from the Ten Lords Commission's criminal directory. Prisoner, Dream Eater. Summary of crimes. This prisoner is involved in multiple serious cases related to stealing memories in various worlds and the attempted theft of the Arbiter General's memory. Detention method. This prisoner must be confined within the sublime heavenly tome and other specifically designed scrolls. These scrolls must be securely placed within a sealed box and never be opened. Remarks. This prisoner is a fugitive memo snatcher escaping from the Garden of Recollection. Don't transfer it back to the garden for now. Since it lacks a physical form, it poses no harm to the guards. Any peculiar occurrences near the box must be disregarded. I don't think we really want to encounter any memo snatchers, but hey, if we ever do, at least we can be ready for them. The next faction that we'll talk about is the Cremators. Let's, of course, look on what the databank says about this faction. In the Garden of Recollection, where memories of the universe are sought and kept, hides a group of extreme Memokeepers who view the marks of existence differently. Instead of treasuring all that has taken place like their colleagues, they believe that there are different qualities and priorities of memories in the world, and that the pure land created by Fuli should not be taken up by worthless memories. The Cremators believe that they bear the sacred duty of filtering memories for the Aeons. They steal the stored memories that Memokeepers have gathered and rank them in order of importance. The ones that they deem worthy are returned to the collection, whereas the ones arbitrarily deemed unworthy are completely destroyed, never to be found again. The Cremators claim that they are cleaning out the garbage, all in hopes of relieving some of Fuli's burdens and contributing to the glorious sacred grounds of remembrance. However, the Garden of Recollection scoffed and saw no reason for their actions. As for the smallest shard of memory in the universe holds just as great of importance as the grandest of feats. No mortal has the right to judge the value of any piece of memory. Okay, so you've got two extreme factions here. The Memokeepers from the Garden of Recollection gather and store any memories for their Aeon to use for that unknown future after destruction. While the Cremators are also Memokeepers, but view that certain memories have higher value than others. Each believe that they are doing the right thing for their Aeon, but their views on the memories they gather are very different. Now, the most notable history that we have for the Cremators is known as the Holstein aphasia. This event can actually be heard from the Parlor Cars IPC broadcast. Make sure to listen to that every now and then. You might pick up on some juicy lore just like this one. The Cremators took the memories of language from the residents of Holstein, removing their ability to produce speech. With the help, of course, of the IPC, the residents of Holstein were able to communicate through writing while the Galaxy Rangers attempted to track down the stolen memories. Alright, Trailblazers, that was our look into Fuli the Remembrance and their factions. What did you think about the experience Mr. Fleming had with Fuli? Would you be excited or awestruck if you met your favorite Aeon? Leave your thoughts and comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I post a full video every other Wednesday. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for notifications on when I do upload. As a side note, I just wanted to say thank you to all my followers so far. You help keep me and this channel going. Now, again, thanks for watching. This has been your host, Lore Hunter Fenry, and I'll see you amongst the stars.